Welcome to Dead Good Stories. We have some disturbing and scary horror stories to help you sleep tonight. If you enjoy these stories, please subscribe. Otherwise, lie back, relax, and let sleep consume you. I never thought I'd be writing something like this, but I don't know where else to turn. I've always been a logical person, someone who doesn't jump to conclusions or believe in the supernatural. But what's been happening to me over the last few weeks? It's starting to break me down. I need to get this out there, if for no other reason than to make sure I'm not losing my mind. It all started about 2 weeks ago. I got a phone call from a number I didn't recognize. I'm not one to answer unknown numbers. Usually it's just telemarketers or spam, so I ignored it. They didn't leave a voicemail, and I didn't think much of it. But the next day, I got another call from the same number. Again, I let it go to voicemail, but there wasn't one, just silence. This went on for about a week, the calls always coming at the same time, 11:45 p.m. every night, without fail. By the end of the first week, it was starting to freak me out. I Googled the number, hoping to find some information, but nothing came up. No name, no location, just nothing. I tried blocking the number, but somehow the calls kept coming through. Then, last night, something changed. I had just gotten into bed, exhausted after a long day, when the phone rang again. It was 11:45 p.m. I stared at the screen, the same unknown number glaring back at me. For a second, I considered just turning my phone off, but something about the persistence of it was getting under my skin. I couldn't shake the feeling that whoever it was, whatever it was, wasn't going to stop. So, against my better judgment, I answered, "Hello?" For a moment, there was nothing. Just dead air on the other end of the line. I was about to hang up when I heard something, a faint whisper, barely audible over the static. "I see you." My stomach dropped. I froze, clutching the phone to my ear, straining to hear. "Who is this?" I demanded, trying to keep my voice steady. Silence. Then the voice again, closer this time. "I see you." My heart was racing. I jumped out of bed and ran to the window, pulling the curtains back and scanning the street below. It was dark, the streetlights casting long shadows, but I didn't see anyone. No cars, no movement, nothing. "What do you want?" I snapped into the phone, my voice shaking now. But the line went dead. I stood there, staring at my phone, my mind racing. Was this some kind of sick prank? But who would do something like this? And how could they know where I was? My apartment is on the 3rd floor, and the windows are always locked. For a long time, I didn't move. I just stood there, watching the empty street outside, feeling like at any moment someone was going to step out of the shadows. But no one came. I barely slept after that. I lay in bed, every sound making me jump, my phone clutched in my hand. I didn't know what to expect, but part of me thought the calls would stop after I picked up. They didn't. Tonight the phone rang again. 11:45 p.m. on the dot. I answered, my heart pounding in my chest. "Hello?" I whispered, barely able to get the word out. This time there was no whisper, no static, just breathing. Slow, steady breathing, like whoever was on the other end was right next to me, listening, waiting. I couldn't take it anymore. "Leave me alone!" I shouted into the phone. "Stop calling me or I'll call the police." The breathing stopped, and for a moment there was silence again. Then the voice returned, low and menacing. "They can't help you." The line went dead. I don't know what to do. I've already tried going to the police, but they didn't take me seriously. They said there's nothing they can do about some prank calls. They suggested changing my number, but I have a feeling that won't stop whoever this is. Somehow they're always going to find me. I've been checking the locks on my windows and doors religiously, and I haven't gone out after dark in days. But I can't shake the feeling that I'm being watched. It's not just the phone calls anymore. I've started noticing things around my apartment. Small things like the way my front door doesn't feel as tightly shut as it should, or how my living room window always seems to be open just a crack, even though I swear I closed it. Last night, I found something in my mailbox. It was just a single sheet of paper with the words "I see you" written in shaky, uneven letters. There was no signature, no address, just those 3 words. I don't know what this person wants. I don't know how they're doing this, how they're always one step ahead, but the calls, they keep coming every night. And I'm starting to think that whoever's calling isn't just watching anymore. I think they're waiting for the right moment to make their move. I don't even know how to start this. I'm not one to post on Reddit, but I've been reading through some threads here, and I feel like this is the only place where people might understand. Something has been happening to me lately. Something I can't explain. I don't know if I'm losing my mind, but I need to tell someone. So, here it is. A few weeks ago, I moved into a new apartment. It's an older building, a little rundown, but cheap and close to my job, so it seemed like a good deal. The place has this weird vibe, though. It's hard to explain. But you know when you walk into a room and just feel like something's off? That's how I've felt ever since I got here. At first, I chalked it up to being in a new place, adjusting to unfamiliar surroundings. But now I think there's more to it than that. It all started about a week after I moved in. One night, I was brushing my teeth, getting ready for bed. I was half asleep, just going through the motions, when I glanced up at the bathroom mirror. For a split second, I saw something wrong. The reflection looking back at me wasn't quite me. It was like my reflection was delayed by a fraction of a second, like it wasn't keeping up with my movements. I froze, staring at the mirror, but everything looked normal after that. I laughed it off, convinced it was just my tired brain playing tricks on me. I went to bed and didn't think much of it, but the next night, it happened again. This time, it was clearer. I was leaning in to wash my face, and when I straightened up, I swear to God, the person in the mirror was still leaning forward, just staring at me. For a second, they didn't move at all. Then, almost like they realized I was watching them, they caught up, mimicking my movements again. I felt this icy chill run down my spine, like someone had walked over my grave. I couldn't sleep that night. I told myself it was stress. Moving is stressful, right? Lack of sleep can mess with your mind. I tried to rationalize it, convince myself that I was just tired and overworked. But as the days went on, it got worse. Every time I looked into a mirror, whether it was in the bathroom, my bedroom, or even in store windows, I felt like my reflection wasn't quite right. At first it was subtle, just little things, like my reflection not smiling when I did, or moving a fraction too slow. But then it started getting more obvious. One night I was sitting on my bed, scrolling through my phone when I glanced over at the mirror on the wall across from me. My reflection was sitting there too, but it wasn't looking at the phone. It was staring right at me. I froze, my heart pounding in my chest. My reflection's head was tilted slightly, the way you'd look at someone when you're curious, or when you're studying them. I moved my hand slowly, waving at the mirror. It waved back, but there was this delay again, just long enough to make my stomach churn. I turned away quickly, trying to ignore it, but I couldn't shake the feeling that it was still watching me. After that, I avoided mirrors as much as I could. I started covering the one in my bedroom with a sheet, and I only used the bathroom one when absolutely necessary. It seemed to help, at least for a few days, but then, 2 nights ago, things escalated. I woke up around 3 a.m. to this strange noise, like something scraping against glass. My heart immediately dropped because I knew where the sound was coming from. Slowly, I turned my head toward the mirror on the wall. Even though I'd covered it, I could still see the faint outline of a figure in the reflection. It was standing right behind me. My whole body went cold. I didn't want to move. I didn't want to look directly at it because somehow I just knew that whatever was standing there wasn't supposed to be. The scraping sound continued, slow and deliberate, like fingernails dragging across the surface of the mirror. I was shaking, frozen with fear, but I forced myself to sit up, my eyes glued to the covered mirror. The scraping stopped. For a long time, I just sat there in the darkness, barely breathing, listening for any sound. But there was nothing. I told myself it was all in my head, that it was just my imagination running wild in the middle of the night. But I didn't sleep after that. Last night was the worst. I had just gotten home from work and I was exhausted. I was trying not to think about the mirror, about the strange things I'd been seeing. I went to the bathroom to wash my hands, avoiding the mirror as usual. But as I was drying my hands, I couldn't resist the urge to glance up. I wish I hadn't, because this time my reflection didn't move at all. It just stood there, staring at me with this blank, almost hungry expression. The eyes were wrong, darker, like they didn't belong to me. Then, slowly, the corners of its mouth twisted up into this eerie, unnatural smile. I bolted out of the bathroom, my heart racing. I don't know what I saw, but I know it wasn't me. I've been staying out of the apartment as much as possible since then. I've even considered just leaving and finding another place, but I can't afford to break my lease. I'm at a loss. I can't talk to anyone about this because who the hell would believe me? They'd think I'm crazy. But I swear to you, there's something in the mirror. It looks like me, but it's not me. It's watching, waiting for something. I don't know what and I don't know why, but I'm terrified of what will happen if I stay here any longer. I don't even know if posting this will help, but if anyone has experienced anything like this, please tell me what to do, because I don't think I can face it again. I don't really know how to start this post, but I need to get this out. I've been holding it in for too long, and things are getting worse. I know how this sounds, and trust me, I wouldn't believe me either, but I think I'm being stalked. Not by some creep, not by a human at all. I'm being stalked by aliens. Before you click away, just hear me out. It all started 3 months ago when I was driving home late at night from work. I work the night shift at a factory, so I'm used to seeing weird stuff when the world is dead quiet, but this was different. I was on this empty stretch of highway when I saw these lights. At first, I thought it was a plane, but it wasn't moving like one. It hovered silently above the road for a few seconds, then shot off into the sky faster than anything I've ever seen. I swear it disappeared in the blink of an eye. I pulled over, thinking maybe I was tired and hallucinating, but everything felt too real. My skin was prickling and my stomach was twisted in knots. I sat there for a while trying to shake off the feeling, but when I got home I couldn't sleep. That's when the dreams started. They were so vivid. I was lying in bed completely paralyzed, and I could feel this presence in the room with me. I couldn't see it, but I knew it was there. It would stand at the foot of my bed, just watching. I never got a good look at it. Every time I'd try to force myself awake, it would vanish, and I'd wake up drenched in sweat. At first I brushed it off as sleep paralysis. It happens, right? But then weird stuff started happening when I was. I'd see shadows out of the corner of my eye, tall, lanky figures that would disappear the second I turned my head. My electronics started acting up too. My phone would glitch out, my TV would turn on and off by itself, and my lights would flicker even when there wasn't a storm. A week ago, something new happened. I was driving home again, same stretch of road, same time, and there it was. The same light hovering above the highway. But this time it wasn't in the distance, it was directly above me, and I could feel it. This low hum filled the air, vibrating through my bones, and I felt it wasn't just in my head, they were watching me. I pulled over, but instead of speeding off, I just sat there staring up at it. Then, out of nowhere, my car engine died. My dashboard went black, and everything around me went completely silent. Even the air felt still, like time had stopped. I couldn't move. It was like my body was frozen and my chest tightened like something was squeezing my lungs. I don't know how long I was stuck like that, seconds, minutes. But then I saw it. Something was coming toward me. It was humanoid, but its limbs were too long and its skin was pale, almost translucent under the lights. Its eyes were these huge, black voids. I couldn't move, couldn't scream. All I could do was watch as it slowly walked toward my car. Right before it reached the driver's side window, I blacked out. When I woke up, I was in my driveway, my car was running, and everything seemed normal. Except for me. I felt like I was being followed, even in my own house. Now, I can't shake the feeling that they're watching me all the time. It's like they're always there, just out of sight. I'll catch glimpses of those tall, lanky figures outside my window, or standing just beyond the tree line in my backyard. But every time I try to focus on them, they're gone. I tried to talk to my best friend about it. Here's how that conversation went down. Me: dude, something weird's been happening to me lately. Friend: weird how? You're acting all paranoid, man. You good? Me: I think I'm being stalked. Friend: by who? A chick from work or something? Spill it. Me: no, not by a person. By something else. Friend: something else? Dude, don't freak me out. Me: I'm serious. I've been seeing lights and things, tall things. I don't even know what to call them. Friend: wait, like aliens? Man, come on, you know I'm into this stuff, but... Me: I'm not kidding. I think they're following me. It's like every time I turn around, they're there, watching, waiting. Friend: I couldn't convince him. He laughed it off like it was some kind of joke, but it's not. It's been getting worse every night. The dreams are back, but now I can't tell if they're dreams anymore. I wake up with bruises, weird marks on my skin that weren't there before. My electronics still act up, and my car, well, it died completely 2 days ago. The mechanic said there's nothing wrong with it, but it won't start. I know they're coming for me. Last night I heard footsteps outside my window, and when I looked, there were these faint handprints on the glass, too long and skinny to be human. I'm scared to sleep. I'm scared to leave my house. I'm scared that any moment now they're going to take me. For real this time. I don't know what they want, but I feel like I'm being hunted. Every instinct in my body is telling me to run, but I don't know where to go. They always find me. No matter where I hide, they're always one step ahead. I've tried everything to stop this. Salt around the windows, blackout curtains, turning off all my electronics at night, but nothing works. They're always there, lurking in the shadows. I know it sounds insane, but I swear it's real. I don't know how much longer I can deal with this. If anyone out there knows what's going on, if you've seen them too, if you've experienced this, I need to know I'm not alone, please. I'm losing my mind, and I think they're coming for me tonight.